So we get to be here with Scott, and I've known Scott for 10, 11 years. And in that 10, 11 years, one of the things that has impressed me so much is your ability to have dropped deeper and deeper into yourself from what I've seen. You've done triathlons, adventure racing, search and rescue, you're a financial planner, and everything that I've seen you do, you don't just skim the surface, you drop deeper into it and you give it your all. And you have this amazing ability to kind of, how do I word it, like transfer from one thing to another, but embody it as you go. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Or what do you do? How did you come to that?
Yeah. Well, that's flattering, first of all. Thank you. Yeah, if it wasn't for COVID social norms and 10 years of our platonic friendship, I'd kiss you on the lips right now, Kona. So, but yeah, it's interesting because, you don't think about that as you're going through it, right? There was no process. There was not there wasn't a 10-year business plan I followed, right? I think just following what feels right and makes me happy has a lot to do with it, but doing it deliberately, right? The word intention, I think, is maybe a little bit overplayed in the self-help world these days, but it is true with intention and doing what feels right. I think there's also a very practical side to it too. So in terms of my life and how I'm wired to be an addict. So like if you go up both sides of the family tree, fair amount of addiction for a lot of things.
Oh, interesting.
I spent solid, time in my teens and 20s with chewing tobacco. That's done and disgusting. I quit playing hockey was the key there. When you talk about things that I've done and left the Midwest. But yeah, so the addictive personality definitely feeds into going deep into different things, right?
You've been able to harness your energy into a positive.
Yeah. Yeah. So harnessing kind of that addictive energy and turning things that could be passing fads or hobbies into lifestyles is part of that. And then the other is just my life. So if you look at what your average person does from their mid-30s to mid-40s, which is what you've kind of known that part of my life. No kids, so I'm not raising kids. No television, so I'm not watching TV. I won't say I don't drink, but like I really don't drink much at all, so no time at bars. Team sports just bore me. So you take your average dude who's like late 30 something, early 40 something years old and ask them like, hey, keep track of your time. What do you do when you're not working? Oh, I have to spend time with the kids. I love to go grab a beer with the guys, watch the game, on TV. Like, so when you remove those 30, 40 hours from a work week or a week of life, you got a lot of time to go do for things that like really move you, right? Yeah. And then you reference Ironmans. Like I don't race Ironman anymore. That's 30 hours a week. Even if I never once train more than 15 hours a week, it's still 30 hours because you have to sleep an extra hour every night. You're preparing food, for a couple hours every week. So removing that from my life opened up more time too to go do other things, which includes riding my bike a lot. But yeah, I think there's, again, that very practical aspect of it, of like channeling addictive tendencies and doing it in a life that I can manage a lot of free time.
I love that. Yeah. I love the way that you word that, kind of taking out the things that are distractors. Yeah. But first figuring out what they are.
Yep.
So if somebody...
To be clear, I never had kids. It's not like I just kicked... There's no feral children of mine running around. I didn't remove that from my life.
You have no kids.
It was a conscious decision from the start.
Yeah. So if somebody was out there and they were on a team sport or even doing a solo sport, and they were doing it and they're good at it and they've been doing it for a while, but they're not very happy, but sometimes people can feel like a little family connection, whether it is a solo or a team or whatever they're doing if they're on a committee. Is there anything that you would recommend how to get out to try something new?
Yeah, I can only speak for myself on that, but when you look at changing from any activity that's time consuming in a good way but maybe not serving you anymore would be another way to word what you just said.
I like that, not serving you anymore.
Yeah.
Not good or bad.
Yep. Like I had to do that for a big volunteer thing of mine this last year with an organization for a long time, wasn't serving me anymore and had to move. And what I did is you look at what isn't working, but then like what kept you around. Like, because something keeps you around. And if it's just stale inertia, that's one thing. But usually that's not totally it. I mean, there's the whole idea of like identity and like, you know, I had a friend growing up, his name's also Scott, he was also born June 2, same year I was born, also grew up on my street, so naturally we were best friends. This was a college golfer. Guy had like, and it's coming to mind where our backdrop is a golf course here. Guy was like a, zero handicap for a number of years, and just wasn't into it anymore, wasn't digging it. So hung it up and became a mountain biker, and loves it, absolutely loves it, loves the culture, which is significantly different.
Way different.
Dirtbaggy mountain bikers, the travel schedule, totally different than golf. But it's like that release of identity, so that's part of it, you know. So you got to be clear of like what's working, what's not in that activity, and not be tied to that identity. I mean, for so many activities, it's the social aspect of it. Like you ask people like, oh, what do you miss about your old job? Oh, I miss the people, I miss the coworkers. You know, what do you miss about golf league? Well, I miss, you know, it's not the 2 9-hole rounds each week. It's you miss the people, and you miss the connections,
camaraderie.
Absolutely. So when you talk about like leaving an activity, it's trying to figure out like how do you replace those things that did serve you, and then get rid of those which, you know, are the energy sucks.
And hey, maybe there's a chance that you can still stay connected to those people, because I think you have in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You've stayed connected to groups that you've left. It doesn't mean you have to completely abandon the whole ship.
Totally, and it's what I absolutely love about living in a reasonably rural area. Like it's so much easier to connect with people and stay connected with people here, right? Like we met through triathlon initially. I haven't done a triathlon in years. I go to the Tri Club camp out every year, because why wouldn't you go to the camp out every year, right? I will show up and swim with someone on their birthday on occasion, and do the things that are fun and connect with the people that I liked.
And you do cool stuff on your birthday every year.
I try.
And what are you doing this year?
That was last Sunday. It was kind of a fail. It was my 3rd attempt of the year to get up Mount Shasta. I am now 4 consecutive failed summit attempts in a row.
Hey, but you keep trying.
But more importantly, I'm here today, and I was not up there when the atmospheric river came in and turned into a whiteout. So I'm not like, you're not reading about me and my partner in the paper and the popsicles that we would have become on that hillside. So no, it's supposed to be Mount Shasta. I bought a book. I read a book. It was a good book.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
See, and your ability to kind of transition into climbing Mount Shasta to a good book.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Scott.